competition is what everybody is paying attention to. But the another thing I want to ask you is, the defensive side of the ball. We've been talking about for a while a defensive improvement. Bringing in a new system, but like, how realistic is that, especially in this year with the squad on that side?
Well, it's interesting to me considering this last presser with George Hicks.
Hmm.
He seemed really confident in this new scheme. I mean, he said, and I quote, I have it written down here because it was quite some powerful
Yeah.
words he had to
Oh, it
say.
was a great quote. I love that
Yeah,
quote.
to be quite frank, we are going to shut teams down this year. It is what it is. I'm just going to be straightforward about it, which
Hmm.
is a powerful quote to say, considering last year was a horrendous year on defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the coaching staff has made this big of an impact on the players, then I'm all for it. It's a
Hmm.
little skeptical to look at though, because how can you go from being in the 100, the low 100ths in the nation or something like that in total defense, and now
Yeah.
you bring in a top 10 defensive staff in to flip this whole thing around. I mean, if it brings Speed D back to Pullman or whatever the Wyoming coaches want to call it, I'm open to hearing any sort of nickname they want to call our new defense, whether it's the Cowboy defense or whatever. Maybe
Hmm.
not so. The Cowboys defense kind of sucks.
Yeah. I
Shout
don't
out to
like
Dak
that either.
Prescott, but we're shout out to Dak Prescott. I hope he gets better soon. That was a terrible injury, but
Yeah.
maybe not the Cowboy defense, but maybe we can have a new nickname to our defense. I'd be totally
Hmm.
open to that. But no, it's a powerful thing to say, and there's definitely still some doubts in the back of my mind still about how you can flip this whole thing around. I mean, what do you think?
I think this is another thing, talking about expectations and what expectations should Cougar fans have, because they shouldn't go into this thinking, oh man, this defense is. I mean, I love what George Hicks said, and I love the confidence, but don't go into the season thinking that they're going to shut every team down, because they're not. That's not going to happen. This defense has never been able to do that, and maybe if you bring like the Pittsburgh Steelers, defense down to the Pac-12, then maybe they would do that. But so don't expect that. But so temper your expectations. If this team shows promise, if this team shows improvement, which there is a lot of room for, I think the two areas where that's really going to be evident is getting to the quarterback and forcing turnovers. If they're able to show some get off on the line, and some guys that can rush on the edge, then I think that's going to be a huge thing. And if they can, force turnovers, a lot of the talk this offseason has been just about letting players play free. So if we're letting our athletes just do what they want to do and what they can do, not what they want to do, but let them play free. And if we're able to, grab some picks and force some fumbles and get some sacks, and I think that's going to be a huge thing looking forward. And I mean, I think just in general this season, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on offenses in general. I think the offenses are going to be. I think that's a little bit harder to install to get ready. The defense can go out there with a little less preparation in this weird off season and go out there. So they may be facing some offenses that are struggling and trying to figure stuff out, just like the WSU offense. And if they can use that to boost their confidence, if they can use that, get some sacks, get some guys going, I think that's going to be huge. And another thing is just development of some young talent. We've talked about the leaders on that defense and the veterans on that defense, but there's a lot of room for young talent and a lot of opportunity for these guys to play, and just building that confidence, because like everything, we're setting up for the future. So this isn't all this defense. Whatever this defense can do now is just the start of what they can do next year.
Yeah, I want to bring it back to the pass rush that you brought up because George Hicks also said in his presser that there was a play where
Hmm.
someone on that pass rush got to the quarterback almost instant, like
Yeah.
within 3 seconds, which I don't know if that's a praise for the D line or if the O line messed something up. But,
I'm gonna
you
go.
know,
I'm gonna go good on the D line, just being
yeah,
an optimist.
yeah. So, that's definitely a bright spot. That's a bright thing to hear. And they said they made some key stops in the red zone on 7-on-7 scrimmage.
Hmm.
And if they can get used to stopping a dynamic offense like the run and shoot during practice, which I understand that you're not going to want to try to take out your starting quarterback during practice, but if you can recognize some of those coverages in such a dynamic offense like the running shoot, then you know that definitely gives me some confidence, and I'm glad that George Hicks has the confidence to say that this defense is just it's just going to shut people down.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I have no question for Skylar Thomas or Jahad Woods or Will Rogers. I don't have any question with the veterans really, because they know how to adapt to I think they will adapt to a new defense at a higher
Yeah.
rate than some of these incoming freshmen. That goes without saying. But it's like you said, our eyes are really turned towards the freshmen coming in, like the freshmen on the D line or the linebacking, but especially the secondary
Hmm.
is where it's really going to need to show out. I think it's realistic to think that we will have an improved season, and
Hmm.
maybe if I'd say a total defense rank, because I mean I don't think we have Utah's defense by any means or Oregon's, but you know if we can get into the top 50 total defense, top 60 total defense, that's you're going up half the list at that point from where we were. So if we can make an improvement like that, I can see that happening, but I don't see Wyoming and WSU switching spots. I don't
Yeah.
see WSU having a top 10 defense. As much as I would love to see that, but
Hmm.
it's great to see confidence with these guys, and it's great to see after what 4 practices that they've had, 3.
I think 3 at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 and what 4 today, I guess.
Hmm.
You know, it's great to see after 3 practices that the system is catching on and people are building chemistry, and Coach Rolovich is seeing some breakout players. You know, it's
Hmm.
great to see that early on, because you know in less than a month's time we're going to be kicking off.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that there's confidence out there. I just hope it works out. You know, I
Mhm.
do not want to repeat from last year's defense. That was hard to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the big thing. It's just, showing the improvement, like we've both mentioned. How about we don't let up 70 points? We hold them to high 30s. I think
Yeah, cut it in
that's
half. Yeah.
yeah, that's realistic. Don't be the number one defense. Be top 75, top 60. I think it's going to be those improvements that lay the groundwork going forward. Another way to lay the foundation going forward